Hi everyone! I've gotten a lot of questions from viewers lately who are asking, why are my tomato and pepper blossoms drying up and dropping off, and what can I do about it? Well, a lot of times that's because of the heat. When temperatures get above 90 degrees, the plants get stressed, go into protection mode, production kind of slows down, and oftentimes the heat causes the flowers to dry up and drop off, and you might get stressed out by that. The plants are stressed too. So let me just show you a couple of dried up blossoms on this tomato behind me here, and then we'll talk about what to do about it. This tomato plant is the Aunt Ruby's German green tomato from my tomato seed collection. It is producing some amazing large green tomatoes, and you can tell when green tomatoes are ready to harvest when they have just a little bit of a give. This one's actually just about ready. So it's producing very well at the moment, but at the top there are some dried up blossoms. Due to the heat, our temperatures have been fairly mild this summer in the low 90s, but today is supposed to be in the high 90s. And here's a few pepper blossoms that are starting to dry up. Sometimes it's hard to tell if they're drying up or if the pepper is actually forming there under the dried up flower. But in any case, I definitely want to protect these peppers from the hot weather and make sure that they keep producing these beautiful California Wonder peppers. The first thing you can do to protect your vegetables all summer long is definitely by applying a nice thick layer of mulch at the base of your plants. Here I've got a couple of inches of shredded leaves, which I save all winter long. Put around the base of my plants to help the soil heat come down a little bit. Definitely helps with the water evaporation. When the temperatures are hot, you can even add some more mulch. And then make sure they're well watered. Water in the morning, water in the evening, so your plants have what they need through the heat of the day. I've got my drip irrigation hoses in here, so they get watered every 2 days for about 30 minutes. When the temperatures are super hot, I may even come out here in the middle of the day and give them a little bit of extra watering. But the other thing that I like to do when the temperatures soar into the high 90s or even into the mid 90s is provide them with a little bit of shade. Now right here I just have a patio umbrella shading this side of the planter, but I also will be putting up shade cloth today. Keep it simple, you guys. This is actually a piece of ag fabric. You could also use an old sheer curtain. This is one of those pieces of fabric you might use to cover your plants to keep the bugs off of them. You could even use it for frost protection, but it also works very well for heat protection because you can kind of see through it a little bit. So some sunlight can get through, but it blocks out the really intense rays of the sun. Now shade cloth is see-through, so it does allow some of the sun's rays to get through, but really blocks out the intensity of the sun's rays. And I've actually done some measurements with my thermometer, and it can stay 10 degrees cooler under the shade cloth, which can really make a difference between your peppers or tomatoes continuing to produce or the blossoms drying up and dropping off and production really slowing down. So I believe this is probably a 50% block, a black shade cloth. This one I think is a little bit higher, maybe a 60% block. People ask me, should I use black? Should I use tan? Which ones keep your plants cooler? And honestly, I haven't really seen a big difference. Now this area here on this planter is the most sun I get in my garden. So I will tend to use a bit of a denser weave shade cloth in this area. But guys, don't make it too complicated. All you have to do is simply drape the shade cloth over your plants. I've got some cages here, so that works out really well. If you're in an area of your garden where you don't have something that will hold the shade cloth up, just use these little clips here. These are little jaw clips that you can buy on Amazon, or even have used these simple little binder clips that you can get pretty much at any office supply store. So I'm just going to keep it simple by just throwing the shade cloth over my veggies. And blossom drop can also happen to your eggplant, to your cucumbers. So this is a great strategy to manage a heat wave in your garden. So we'll drape it over, clip it on to your cages or your stakes if need be. You could even secure it at the bottom with a couple of rocks to hold it in place in case you're going to have some wind. And you are good to go. So get out there if it's going to be over 90, 95, into the hundreds. Cover as much as you can of your garden with shade cloth, with an umbrella. Make sure that you mulch heavily around the base. Give them a nice good watering. You'll see a lot less stress to your plants, a lot less blossom drying up and dropping off. Comment below, let me know if you're going to use this strategy in your next heat wave, and head over to my seed shop at CallieKimGardenandHome.com. Check out my seed collections, my fabric containers, and my book, Organic Gardening for Everyone. Well, I gotta go. It's gonna be a hot one today, and I've got a lot of the garden to cover with shade cloth. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you in the next video.